One of the things I love most about technology is that if you know how to use it, you can make it work for you to make everyday tasks a lot easier. What I have here is a program that I made using Excel, and it's a physical education gradebook. One of the things that a physical education teacher has to deal with on a daily basis is a large number of students and keeping track of those students as far as attendance and their grades that they have for different activities during class. So this is something that I made to kind of help me organize that and make it easier for me. So this is a spreadsheet. We have some tabs down here at the bottom for attendance, different types of tests. I have evidence of learning, which is really important in New York State with the new baseline testing, and then it'll give you the final grade. So I'll give you a quick tour. What we have, you have the different class, and then the student's name. I'll just put a random name. I'll put myself in there. And the student ID number, if you have that, that's good. If you want to post their grades, you can just post it with the student ID number instead of having their name in. The cool thing is all the information that's on this tab gets forwarded to these other tabs. So you'll see now my name's in here, and it all gets pushed to the final sheet, which is the final grade. Now for attendance, a couple of things. If you look over here in this column, you have different things. You can be present, you can be unprepared, absent, entered, meaning sometimes students come in and they might be there, but they're not participating as much as you would like. So you could tell them that they're not going to get full credit for today if they don't pick it up. It's a participation type grade, so you can have it just enter or even give them half credit depending on the student's behavior for that day. Now you'll see the first letter in each one is underlined. If you enter this, it'll automatically get input into this final column. I'll show you what I mean. So let's say I was prepared, and I type it in here. I type in a P. It automatically gets calculated over here that the student was present and what their grade is. Now, we'll go through, let's say there were 15 days in the marking period. So I'll go all the way to 15, and I was present this day, this day, this day, and then I was absent a day, I was present, I only got half credit one day, and then I was present, and 15 days. One thing that I made, as you can see, it says my grade right now is a 1350, which wouldn't be true, but I have it so that you can change the number of classes that you have, because sometimes you don't always have the same number of classes in a marking period. So if I change this to 15, it then recalculates and it knows to do the math to change that attendance grade. So this is very handy as far as tracking students' grades for attendance. But also, if I go to testing down here, I can make up tests. I have a pre-test column, and I also have a post-test column, and any tests in between. Let's say it was a basketball unit. I could change this to basketball, and then I could say that there was a dribbling test, there was a shooting test, and give you one more, there was a passing test, a chest pass maybe. So we have 3 tests, so I could change this column over here again. I'll say that there were 3 tests, and the maximum score per test, I'll make it so that it was out of 20 points. And the pretest, a lot of times on the pretest it's a lower grade, but I'll say it was out of 20, so I'll say I got a 13 on the pretest. My dribbling score, I got a 19. Shooting was a 15. Passing, I got a 20. So now it calculates my grade. I got a 90 on my tests. I took my post-test at the end to see if I learned anything for basketball, and I got a 19 out of 20. I actually have to change that to 4 tests because your post-test counts as a grade. So I got a 19 here. So now I got a 91.25. Now all of this information will then get shifted. If you look at the tab down here, I go to evidence of student learning. That evidence comes from my pre-test and post-test. If I had a bunch of students here, this graph would show that I was a effective teacher because my students would show evidence of learning by scoring higher on their post-test than in their pre-test, but also their final grade is then calculated. I have attendance and participation as 75% of my grade, and testing is 25%. So it takes these two and it then calculates it into my final grade. I could take this entire column with the students and then forward it into my grade book. So now I have 300 students On average at a high school, a physical education teacher will have 300 students. On the rosters, 150 kids a day with alternating days. So I could take all this information, forward it to my gradebook, and it makes it a lot easier for me as a physical education teacher. So this is something that I made on my own. I put a good amount of time into it, but it's now saved. I've shared it with one other physical education teacher. They've been using it, and they said that it makes class a lot easier, and it's something that's useful to them. That this type of thing with attendance and inputting grades for all those students used to be something that took up a lot of time, and now it's not. It's a solution to a problem using technology. If you know how to use the technology, then you can harness that and make teaching a lot easier, not just by making assignments, but also by using it for something like this with your gradebook. You could put this on an iPad and do attendance right in class. You could input grades right in class and save it. You could save it to the cloud. You could save it right on the iPad and sync it, or even on a tablet or a laptop. So this is something I wanted to share.